you, Axelle. So go through the whole process of how you got the idea and how you sort of like worked it all out, how you're going to do it.
Okay, so we've been traveling to LA when we used to live in London pretty often, and from the first time we traveled to LA, we met this awesome group of people. Like literally the first day that we got there, we went to a Fangoria convention, and there were a bunch of directors I'd been in touch with on like MySpace at the time, I think. And we met them and they introduced us to a whole bunch of people. And over the years, this was like 8 years ago, we've remained friends. And every time we'd go back to LA, we'd meet the same people. And then when we moved, we're still friends. Like, these are our best friends now. And after a couple of years, it was just realizing everybody loves horror so much. We're all into the same things. We're all either directors or writers or actors. Everybody's involved somehow in the horror genre, and we all live and breathe this. It would be fantastic if, it's good to have one person doing a film. You can be very strong by yourself, but if you put 10 people together, you have the strength of all those amazing directors and you can make something that's really appealing. And how about we celebrate our friendship and celebrate the love of Halloween and the horror genre by doing an anthology movie? And so the anthology was the first part that came up. About 3-4 years ago, I started talking about it, but didn't really quite have the idea that would bring it all together. And it was after Halloween last year, or 2 years ago, when it's just Halloween is a whole season of 6 weeks to 2 months of celebrations. We go to theme parks, we go to screenings, we dress up, we have parties. It's a huge event. And so it was like, okay, this is very natural. This is the time of the year where everybody in the world catches up with their love of the genre. So let's celebrate this and make something about Halloween. And then I pitched it to Neil first, who was like, yeah, it's good, very British, like, yes. Yeah. I pitched it to Mike Mendes, like, yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And then to Adam Garash, who just, at a party, was just, oh my god, that's such a great idea. And I never like anybody's ideas. And that felt like, okay, I guess I can get some enthusiasm out of people. So, yeah.
Was it always going to be tense? I mean, it was who Friends was available, I suppose.
Pretty much. It was a little bit
a little
that.
bit at the beginning, but
yeah.
I've settled to 10. Well, 10. It's 11 directors with 10 shorts.
At first it was going to be 13, and then
Sorry.
So, well, I just said like the important thing for us was that it wasn't going to be a competition; it was going to be a collaboration. So that we would, and the benefit of having all these 11 directors involved is that we'd have 11 minds that would all contribute ideas and collaborate with each other, rather than be like, I want to make the best film and you can all go fuck yourselves. So
there wasn't any of that, Neil, be truthful.
No, absolutely not. It was like, it's going to benefit us all to have a great, if everybody's short's excellent. So we make a much better film that way than if we make a film that even has like one that isn't so good. It hurts us. So just like it was in all our interests to help each other out wherever possible.
Was it like the ABCs of Death sort of deal, where you all got the same amount of budget, or how did that actually work?
It was very different from the way they worked, which, as I understand, they got the budget and then they kind of all went and did their own films. What we did here was that the idea was we gave an idea of what the budget for each short film should be, and then we would also provide the camera and the equipment and the lighting and then post-production and the production team. So the money was just like for actors and catering and whatnot. And but quickly, people had that in mind when they were writing the scripts, but some people, I'm not at all looking at Neil, were much more ambitious than others in the way that the scripts kind of spiraled and became very ambitious. And the fantastic thing was that instead of asking us to cut that stuff down, Patrick and Chiquette were super supportive, and they just said, I think that if this benefits the film, we'll just put a little bit more money here, we'll put some more money there, and really to make sure that we make the best film possible. Just kind of amazing. But we had certain parameters that we were working towards. We knew what the length was going to be. Like, it had to be 7 to 10 minutes for each short film. We knew that it had to be in the same universe, so the same kind of town, on the same night. And that it had to be, what am I forgetting? No found footage.
Celebration of Halloween, obviously.
And it has to be about Halloween. It can't just be set on Halloween and be a random story. It had to be a horror, obviously. But within that, we can do pretty much whatever we want.
I mean, obviously the inspiration was like Trick or Treat and these sort of movies, yes? I mean,
Trick or Treat, Season of the Witch was a huge inspiration. Creepshow, obviously, in the tone.
Cat's Eye, all those anthologies that we grew up with and inspired us, definitely. I think tone-wise, I think Creepshow is a pretty
Creepshow
good,
was pretty
It is.
good example.
Because we went for spooky fun. We felt like Halloween for us means spooky fun. It doesn't mean super dark, and it doesn't mean we wanted people to come out of it feeling like they had a great party and they were celebrating with friends instead of feeling like, oh God, I saw some disgusting stuff, and you know,
We
it
weren't
wasn't
trying
that
to
kind of
shock.
a downer.
We were trying to scare, but not shock.
Mm-hmm. Well, Adam Girash kind of.
I like Adam's one actually.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
nice. I think it's a good one. It's funny.
It's a very different tone.
Yeah, it's got that EC comic, real nasty twist, isn't it? I think
Mhm.
that's pretty
You
tricky.
know, I think a lot of humour came out in them as well, and I think that's part of it. It's like, you know, we spend as much of Halloween laughing as we do screaming. So, you know.
So, okay, you did the deal. So everyone goes off and writes their little thing. Did you were they under like a 2-week deadline or something to do it?
No, we made it very clear from the beginning, and that influenced the way we picked the directors too, that it had to be a collaboration, and that it wasn't bullshit. Like the friendship thing could not just be a pitch. It had to be an actual, you know, in the process had to work that way. So everybody came up with ideas, and then we met either at the cafe or in our backyard or something like that, and just we would meet a couple of times a month, sometimes 3 times a month, and we would pitch each other the stories. And so Neil would explain what he had in mind, and then you could see from the reactions, you already had a first audience that would react to your ideas. So you could see if there were blank stares, you were like, okay, I need to find something else. I don't think they react to that. And that was the first way of selecting, you know, first kind of quality control. Everybody had to have an idea that was exciting to everybody. And it's not like we enforced it on anybody, it's just that everybody wants to make the best film. So you have that kind of feedback straight away from people, yeah, that's amazing, and then you can go for it.
Yeah.
And then at each stage with the scripts, they would send them to me, I would send them out to whoever wanted to read them, I would centralize the notes and then send the feedback to people, and they could implement it or not, but it was kind of, you can do whatever you like, you just don't have permission to suck. And here's how we can, this is the support line that we can give you, is that everybody can help. And for mine, it was great because I got ideas from Neil, from Dave, from Mike, and it all made it into the script, and it all made it a much stronger piece, I think.
Well, you two being non-American, though, would have given that an extra flavour anyway. I was just wondering if that sort of keyed into what you were doing, thinking, you know, resolutely British and having a look at an angle at that.
I suppose so. I think the whole project is an angle of that. Is like, you know, pretty much all the other directors have been living this version of this huge Halloween celebration all their lives, and it is, although you know we've been seeing it for like 10 years or so now, but it's still fresh. It's still something that we really relish each year. So I guess you know there is an outsider's point of view in there somewhere. I guess it's a little bit more subconscious now.
I don't feel like my film is specifically Belgian.
Your one has the best shocking, I think.
Oh, good.
You know.
I've seen grown men shriek and there. Like last time we screened it, the guy in front of me was like this big, tough guy, and he literally went "ho" with his hands like that. It's awesome.
I mean, I have an affection for Mike Mendez's. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I think the whole alien thing is just so sweet. But you actually, you know, that's not a traditional sort of like Halloween thing either. I mean, is it?
No,
it's
not
not
obvious,
that.
but
Yeah.
No, and there was part of the discussion early on was like, "Do you sure that this is Halloweeny enough?" But I think that it is in the theme, and that the way he pitched it was on Halloween night. Even nobody is what they seem, and the bad guys might not be the ones you need to worry about. And I felt like this is great, actually. And the title Friday the 31st is just awesome.
Yeah,
Like, this is great. It's exactly what Halloween's about. It's like putting a new twist on things. Things are upside down. It's such a great story.
And we wanted monsters and stuff in there, and it's like we didn't want to limit ourselves as to where these monsters might come from. So it's like it all ties
And
together.
how long did each segment take? Was it like as long as a piece of string, where you took as long as you wanted to, or
No.
you had to be specifically like?
Each one had to be shot in 2 days, or in some cases 3. Mine was 3 because I had too many locations to do in 2 days. I think that was
Yours
mine the
was
only one?
3 because you're a rock star.
Though that too. But yeah, it was just I couldn't have done mine in 3 days.
Did you always have the the you know the way it was going to progress, did you juggle the stories around in any way, or did you know how they were going to follow each other?
We had an idea, like when I put them together at script stage, we had a rough idea of how it would play out, but I think only Neil's, like we always knew that Neil's was going to be the last one, and it kind of ties everything together because there's lots of references to lots of the other films. Mike's was always going to be in the middle because you catch it in the middle of a chase and you end it in the middle. Like it's not really, it doesn't really work as an ending. Mine also felt like a middle kind of piece, but then everything else we kind of juggled around. But it was a question of not having all the comedies together, not having any time where it's just too slow. And then we put Sweet Tooth at the beginning because we thought it really captures the spirit of what we were doing.
Yeah, exactly. As well, isn't it? It's really, really nice.
And it's really a Halloween legend. And
it's establishing a new mythology and such like. But it's, and I think that changed quite a lot. It was like an idea at script stage as to what order they would be in, and then as we were filming, certain things changed. Like because I shot mine second, so it was early on, and I introduced these two cop characters who at the time were not included in any of the others. But they were so good and so much fun, and so Adam Green and Graham Skipper. And then one was like, well, let's see if we can get them into some of the others. But they would actually appear in those others first in the running order. So that emerged as we were shooting, and then in the edit we kind of juggled around a little bit.
Why didn't Adam direct one though? What was the reason?
He was busy. He was well, there's that. But he thought he was going to do Holliston at that point, so he couldn't commit to it. And it was supposed to be a commitment of 6 months, so he can really do it. I mean 6 months in terms of like being in town and being able to talk.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a hit. This isn't going to be successful. It's going to close. Well, who knows? It's on the circuit. I mean, I think it will. It's got that sort of like annual feel that people will want to see it every year. Don't you think?
We really hope that it's going to be a new Halloween tradition.
Yes.
And even if it's something that, you know, it's not like a major release that's like everybody will maybe not see straight away, but if people can pass it on and pass on word of mouth, and if it can grow from year to year, that'd be amazing. And from mine personally, my dream is that it would become the one that you show to your little sister because you really want to scare her and see how that person is going to react.
You see sequel potential in it?
It's definitely potential. Yeah, I'm sure there's more tales of Halloween to be told. So.
And the anthology, it continues, isn't it? I mean, we've got Holidays coming, Southbound. I mean, they're not going away, are they?
The Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah, which was great. I thought that was great too. Your film and Christmas Horror Story made so much sense together that apart, it just didn't work. But we thought putting the two was perfect.
It's almost bizarre how much the tone is similar in both, and it's really fun.
They're both clearly made from a love of the seasons.
Sure, they had William Shatner, you've got Adrian Barbeau. Yeah, it's just brilliant, isn't it? It's just perfect. Great, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.